What up, what up? Defin, good to see you. Setting up the live now. You know how it goes. You're getting here early. Appreciate everyone liking the stream. Very, very helpful. Getting things up and running here very quickly. So thank you to everyone who does that. We will jump right into it. Make sure to smash the like button on the way in also. Really appreciate that. Good morning, Mary Cox. Wald Gardner, Johnny Jackson. Morning, Mickle, Friday the 13th. Coming up. Looks like RLUSD got that final approval, which is very exciting. Talk a bit more about that. RPM, good to see you. Tomato Pete, Guess, Defin, Mike. Looks like the TikTok chat's just filling up as well. Awesome. And let me get my vertical YouTube feed going. Incredible XRP, Daniel. Good morning. Good morning. How many people were around for the space? Yeah. The volume. Taylor, good to see you, man. How many people were around for the space last night? Seems like a lot of people were. Yeah, last night was wild. I don't understand why the hostility is so high. People are like, it's so funny. Everyone like, they all like despise XRP, but then you find out they all hold XRP. It's very weird behavior. You know, you kind of just get left there thinking like, what is up? Like, why would you hold an asset that you clearly dislike so much? It's crazy. And it's a little annoying too, because I know I could have debated all of them all at once. Like, they can bring anyone they want. I'm perfectly fine on my own. But then they go and call on people like in the XRP community who just like don't communicate the vision as well. And it's like, it just goes backwards. So, but I think it went pretty well. As soon as the price goes up, they'll all be randomly saying, oh, now I understand XRP. Or, oh, I always understood XRP. That's the way it goes. When do we get inflation data? I feel like that's got to be like right around the corner here. I feel like it's been so long since we got inflation data. When is that? They dislike XRP, but they love money. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. They don't, they know XRP is going to go up, but they can't actually admit it. Is XDC pumping? Let me take a look. Firedog, you kind of killed it last night, Firedog. You did a good job. You're one of the few people I think actually added a very good perspective there. So you killed it. Thank you so much for the donation. 85% point, we get a 25 basis point cut. Let's take a look at XDC real quick. Oh, wow. Yeah, XDC's pumping hard. Awesome. Good. Nice. Good for everyone holding XDC. I do hold some XDC. here is that chart. Weird, I want to put myself maybe bottom right. Here's that XDC chart. Let me pull up an actual trading view chart though. See if we can see anything interesting, any patterns. Wow. I mean, in terms of a pump, very interesting channel here. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You have some kind of range here, kind of in the middle of it right now. So we'll see how that continues to play out. This is on a shorter time frame though. Let's go over to a weekly chart. And of course, chart just has no data on it. Who's going to have the full data for XDC? Maybe Bitstamp? No. The worst part about TradingView, you never know who actually has the full chart. It doesn't give you any time frame. Bitfinex? Okay. Okay, this goes back to 2019. This should be pretty good. So this is the log chart for XDC, which obviously looks very, very good. Wow. Yeah, no, this looks awesome. Zoom in really quick, and yeah, also looking good on this chart as well. So yeah, XDC definitely looks solid. Mickle, your control in the debate and not giving into their digs was amazing. Totally made them look stupid. I appreciate that. You know, it's so funny because most of them don't even really comprehend Bitcoin that way, which is the crazy part. It's like these people don't even really understand Bitcoin that well, but they want to go out of their way to talk trash on XRP. But yeah, for the most part, it's like they don't even really have any. They don't really. Oh, that's good to hear, Fire Dog. There's never any really good pushback against Ripple and XRP. I mean, that live pretty much got to them thinking that it was centralized, which is, like, all right, like, do a little more research. Like, you're not there yet. Like, there's never actually any good pushback against XRP. The one who walks, good morning, good morning. Rise Harrison, good evening. Comes out in 11 minutes. Is inflation today? Is that data today? Let me check. That'd be so funny. Rocky Mountain Jack, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Really appreciate that. That'd be so funny if it was today. I just felt like it was like overdue at this point. There's no way it's today. Yeah, it's today. December 11th. Wow, that's so funny. I was like, wow, we haven't read like inflation in a while. That's so funny. Okay, cool. All right, well, the space is just making fun. The space title is just making fun of Bitcoin maxis, but that's all right. That's always cool. Yep, CPI is today. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. I didn't know that. I would have made the space title inflation data, but instead I made it Bitcoin maxis melting, which is funny. It was a fun space though. Like, there's definitely some digs going around, but for the most part, like, all the people who are actually significant, like Joe, I always feel like those guys are pretty respectful. So We can disagree and I take shots at them, which is perfectly fine. I know they're good with it. They're tough guys, but I never felt like anything was really disrespectful in it. Like people cut each other off, people talk over each other, but I don't know. I felt like it was a pretty good space. I didn't feel like anyone was like being outright purposefully disingenuous. And I think a lot of them were accidentally being disingenuous just because they don't really understand things, which, you know, that's why I joined the space, is to educate them, teach them, and convert them. Although I don't think at this point, I just think the price is going to go up and then they're going to be like, oh, now all these things you were talking about make a lot of sense. So I think they're going to see the price go up. They're going to get FOMO and they're going to be like, oh, wow, I heard this guy talking about Ripple and XRP this entire time. What is going on? I think my YouTube vertical chat is members only. Is it possible that I never realized that? That would be absurd. That would be absurd. But I only see members commenting in the vertical chat. I need to check this out. I never realized that, but it's got to be the case, unless it's just some crazy coincidence that only members are watching that vertical chat. Public. It should be this one. Man, that'd be crazy. Yeah, it's members only. What the heck is wrong with this thing? I had never realized that. Oh my God. That's insane. Yo, I just opened it up. My bad, guys. We are free. Yo, the comments are so funny. Oh, those comments are crazy. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had no idea that was the case. Yeah, I do need I need more than another coffee because this has probably been the case for a very long time. It's because I have so many different live stream windows open. Like there's the horizontal screen, the vertical stream, TikTok, X. It's like, man, it's like really hard to keep up with everything going on all these different streams. And there's supposed to be a multi-chat window that just doesn't show anything. So it's just like, I can barely, wow. The comment section is popping now. Okay, let's go. Sorry about that, guys. Did not mean to leave you hanging there. Bitcoin Cash was what Bitcoin was supposed to be. Oh, Taylor, you say that in one of those spaces. Oh my, people would not be able to contain themselves. Okay, awesome. Vertical chat's popping. Oh no, you guys weren't blocked. I had no idea. I almost lost it when they said that, Laura. If I was on stage, I would have ripped that man apart. Wait, what was it? What are you guys talking about, Fire Dog? I finally got this chat situation figured out. This is great. They made an update, so now I can see X, I can see YouTube vertical, and I can see TikTok. This is a huge development. Oh, fire me up. I can finally see all the chats. I mean, it's so chaotic, but I have everything on my screen. Okay, cool. Wait, what were they saying in the what were they saying in the room, Fire Dog, that you were just mentioning? I have to know. Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate everyone who enjoyed me going on that space. Honestly, it takes a lot of time and energy. Oh, I got you. It takes a lot of time and energy to go on those spaces and talk with those people. So I really appreciate you guys enjoying me doing that because, like I said, it takes a lot of time, energy. CPI data is coming. I'll have it on the screen. Takes a lot of time and energy. So I really appreciate everyone coming out and being like, very much appreciative of me doing it. I see early reports coming on that 2.7 for inflation. Here we go, though.
We're just literally seconds away from November CPI. The futures this morning, not a lot happening, up 5 points on the Dow, but NASDAQ, I look like I'm looking at you. It's not, I'm not. I'm looking at the monitor over here because they moved it because we have two guests, but it's all TV. Rick Santelli, what is it? CME, the numbers?
The November Consumer Price Index, expected up 0.3% on the headline, comes in exactly as expected, up 0.3, which is 1/10 hotter, at least until revisions hit the wire, of last month's up 0.2. And by the way, we had 4 up 0.2 in a row. Up 0.3 brings us to the equaling of April when it was up 0.3. We have to go to February and March, both up 0.4% to find higher numbers. If you subtract food and energy, it remains at up 0.3%, equaling our last look, and it is now the 4th consecutive month up 0.3%. Just to put a face on it, to find a higher number, you go to March when it was up 0.4. The low read of the year, was up 1/10. That was mid-year in June. Year over year, up 2.7. 1/10 hotter than the rearview mirror, as expected. 2.7 is the warmest since July when it was 2.9. The high watermark is 3.5 from March of this year, at least the high watermark for 2024. And in my opinion, the most important number of all, year-over-year core, expected up 3.3%. It comes in up 3.3%, the third 3.3% in a row. High watermark for the year was January when it was 3.9. The lowest it's been this year is 3.2 several times. That was July and August of this year. Now, 1913 is when the CPI headline index was created. The all-time high, well, 315.664 was last month. We actually are a bit lower, 315.49. So we broke history. The all-time high was last month. We're a smidge below it in the index. If you look at the core index created in 1957, the high water mark is this month at 322.657. So you look at the indices, you know, we're very close. It's almost every month you make new all-time highs, which really goes to the gist of higher prices in the public. It's about where they were and where they are now. For the Fed, it's about the rate of change. And in both cases, they're definitely on the warm side. Joe, back to you.
I like your word choices, Rick. When you say warm, you mean if you wanted to say hot, you'd say hot. So it actually is, your choice of words depends on the numbers themselves. And then I guess on the other side, it could be cool, could be cold, could it be lukewarm if it was less than warm? I mean, do you have gradations for everything? Think about that. Give me a good answer on that. In the meantime, I'm going to bring in our panel. Well, no, it's not really a panel. It's kind of a mini panel. Oksana Aronov, head of market strategy for alternative fixed income at JP Morgan Asset Management. Alicia Levine, head of investment strategy and equities at BNY Wealth, and our own Steve Leisman. Did you notice? Do you think
He's
about
really good. I mean, come on.
But it was warm. It wasn't hot.
There's a reason he gives the numbers and not me.
No.
Because he's that good at it.
There's a lot of reasons.
A lot of reasons.
Yeah. So what do you make? Exactly.
I want to talk about maybe a headline busted number here, which is kind of interesting. The owner's equivalent rent. Remember, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for this to come down. 0.2%. And I didn't have a chance. Basically, it's back in line with where it was before the pandemic. The year over year is still a little hot because there's bigger numbers in the background, but 4.9%, that is helpful. Now, there's other stuff going on that is not as helpful, and that's, I got to go to another screen for, and that's food at home up 0.5%, the reacceleration, Joe, of, and I don't know, I didn't have a chance to look at the detail where that acceleration is coming from, but it's worth pointing out. And of course, for my friend Rick Santelli, who does like used cars, and trucks, and has apparently a large garage full of. No, I'm just going here. Up 2%. It follows a 2.7 number. These numbers had been negative for a while, Joe. Now they seem to be coming back up. The other thing worth talking about here is apparel turning around. It had been negative in the prior month, up 0.2%, and you didn't get the nice decline in energy that you had in the prior month. You're up 0.2% on energy, with gasoline up 0.6. So we got that big decline. You're seeing prices below 3, a little bit above 3 around the country. So that's where we're at right now. A little bit of push me pull you, but that rent number, I think, is something the Fed.
We don't need
watch.
anything accelerating, and that's what I'm going to ask Oksana and Alicia, because the big question, I think, at least on my mind, maybe other people, is inflation. I'll ask you, Alicia. Is it nothing? Is it under control? And can we cut? Can we feel just no problemo? New highs in the market, Bitcoin new highs, all this, GDP surging, unemployment very low. We're cutting.
What could go wrong?
Is inflation under control enough to be cutting?
So we can still cut here, given where inflation is and given where real rates are. But it's unmistakable that the last 4 months, with core up 0.3% month over month, is a trend. And so that's an uncomfortable trend. And I think it really speaks to what the Fed's going to do.
Why would you cut if you're uncomfortable?
Because we are still, the real rates are still high.
So we're restrictive. You believe that?
I believe we're restrictive. I think the question is going forward. I think there was 100 basis points built in here where the Fed had room to cut from where the Fed funds rate was. I think going forward, we have to ask the question, if we have a booming economy and we have inflation, which is a little bit warmer, I'm going to use the word warm. How much room do we have for 2025? Right. And that's the question the Fed is faced with.
Do you agree, Oksana?
So we continue to believe that this level.
All right, your time's up. Okay, well, to me, that data seemed pretty decent. I don't think it was like this great data, but I also don't think it was bad. 2.7% is pretty much in line with the Fed's 2% target. It's not 2%, but everything was in line with expectations. Very minor rises. It doesn't look like the market is kind of looking at this as anything bad. It doesn't look like it's really looking at this as anything overly good. It seems like the market's kind of just saying, okay, well, yeah, inflation's not a problem. It's not necessarily great data, but it's not bad either. More importantly, though, like, I don't think we really want inflation tanking anymore. It's already dropped pretty massively, and we're getting kind of dangerously close to deflation. So, in my opinion, all that looks good. And we actually had some of the sticky parts, like the owner's equivalent rent, coming down pretty significantly. So we'll see what XRP does here, but looks pretty decent. Lauren says, I think they almost lost it when you told them you own BTC and other investments other than XRP. Oh yeah. And look, most of them are just gonna have to figure out XRP on their own, right? Like I tweeted out this morning, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Most of these people, I just think it's over their head. Like the thing is they don't understand cryptocurrency technology. They don't understand Bitcoin. Like most of these Bitcoin people own Bitcoin simply because number go up. They don't actually understand Bitcoin. They actually don't actually understand any of this stuff. They just like it because the chart goes up. So under that, it's very hard for them to actually understand something like XRP when they don't even understand really why they're invested in Bitcoin. One of the funniest things about the debate is like they're constantly getting stuff wrong about Bitcoin. And I gotta just sit there laughing. It's like, dude, how am I supposed to debate you when I have to teach you about XRP and Bitcoin? Like one of the guys was talking about how Bitcoin was going to be used peer-to-peer and going to be this global network. It's like, look, that's great, but at the current capacity of Bitcoin, everyone in the world would get 2 transactions over the course of their lifetime, right? That's not going to work. Oh, Bitcoin number go up is absolutely a good thing, right? No one's saying that's a bad thing. But if you don't understand the tech, then it's hard to understand a tech-focused investment. I personally hope they don't invest in XRP. Like, I hope they don't invest in XRP. I hope Dr. Donish sells his XRP. Hold on, it looks like something else is going on here.
Brewing here.
You know, I'm somewhat in Rick's and Oksana's camp in the following way. If you have a situation where there's a dramatic change in fiscal policy and the Fed has to reverse course, then the Fed has to reverse course. I think there's a...
You're blaming this on Trump's policy. So you can say you're right that we're restrictive, but he could do something where you'd have to change your mind, but it wouldn't be your fault.
I'm more interested, Joe, in this idea that you want...
Yeah?
Of course, what you want, you're going to back. You're just going to dance.
Always.
You're going to dance.
Always.
You want the Fed to act prospectively on potential policy. I don't know that I want the Fed to do that. I would rather see what is passed by the new Congress.
You don't want them to do that, so you can blame being wrong on something.
I don't want to blame anybody here. I do want to point out, however, the data, which is pointing out the interesting thing that Rick is talking about. You've had an increase in the probability of that August cut, an increase in the probability of a cut down the road. I didn't look at the December 25 Fed futures contract here. I looked it up real quickly. But what's interesting here is Rick's talking about this notion of somewhere in there is this dance, speaking of dances, of the market gaming out what the Fed is going to do versus what the market thinks the Fed ought to do. And I don't know where to look to the market for the ought to do. I can look at them gaming out what the Fed is going to do. And so what the takeaway from this number is that this quarter point cut and perhaps another quarter down the road, another 50 next year, is still on.
Alicia, and then we'll get to you. Sorry.
Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to know. Just like, what is the possibility of a cut look like? KJ said you were patient and articulate, Mickle, despite the interruptions and tantrums. Can't wait. Thank you. Thank you, KJ. Appreciate that. Looks like that stream is lagging a little bit. Let me refresh it. Dottie, good to see you, man. Good morning. Tether can no longer operate in Europe on the 13th, right? Was there something with BTC connected to the number 589 on that date or the 16th? I don't know about the 589 thing. I also don't know if that's a hard stop for Tether in Europe. I think a lot of people have been saying that is the case. But I just don't have that confirmation off the top of my head. Either way, it seems like Tether is having some pretty massive issues in Europe, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have those same issues in the United States. The United States is going to give Tether a list of rules they need to comply with, and the interesting thing is going to be if Tether tells the United States to go kick rocks or Tether is willing to actually comply. Let me see if I can pull something on a date real quick for you, Scotty. I do appreciate that question. I'm seeing December 30th, but we'll see. A lot of times dates like that are thrown around and things are out of context, so we just need to make sure we get the right context there. If I do find something on that, I will make sure to bring it up. Devin Dennis says Tether is not approved by Micah. Yeah, but when does Micah go live? And does that mean instantaneously Tether will have to be delisted? XP Market, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. When do I think RLUSD will be launched? I think today or tomorrow. I think today or tomorrow we'll probably see RLUSD go live. We should see. We will see. I think probably today or tomorrow, but certainly by Friday, I think we'll see it. My understanding is Ripple has probably had more than enough time. Damn, there are so many clips from that space getting posted right now. So many clips. It's so fun to go back and watch. I love going back and watching these spaces. And it makes it even funnier because like when I'm doing these spaces, talking to all the Bitcoin maxis, like you guys should see what I'm like doing in like real life. Like last night, I was literally like cooking dinner and I would like run over it and like hit the mic and be like, my food would be burning, things would be in the oven. I'm like, oh man, I was like, oh, that was a crazy meme by Ripple, the lock-in post by Ripple. That was cool to see. I don't know if this space was recorded, but there was there's definitely recordings out there. I look stressed from the space last night. Well, I appreciate you looking out for me. I will tell you very much, I am not stressed at all from the space last night. I might be a little tired because it kept me up a little later than I should have been. And then I had some more stuff to do after. And then I woke up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. So not necessarily getting the amount of sleep I should be, but definitely not stressed. Actually, I know a lot of you guys probably don't see it this way. But I actually feel that it was a pretty respectful space outside of a couple individuals, but you're always going to get that. For the most part, I think, I enjoy most of my conversations with Joe. I feel that Joe is, I have a fun time talking with Joe. We might disagree on a lot of stuff, but Joe does his best to stick to the facts, and he'll admit to me on the back end if he gets stuff wrong. So I always find that funny. He'll come into my DMs and be like, yeah, I absolutely got this wrong. So I think Joe is generally honest. I think Gary just, I think if XRP went to like $10, Gary would be buying hand over fist. I don't think Gary gets it yet. I don't blame him. It's not like he was early to Bitcoin. So I don't have anything like against Gary. I thought one of the funnier ones was that Zach guy, the securities lawyer who came in and didn't know anything about XRP not being a security and was trying to say like all this weird stuff that clearly wasn't the case. He was clearly pretty hurt by XRP at one point in his life, so he seemed to be having a tough time. And then that Teddy guy didn't seem like he really had any idea what was going on the entire conversation. So I don't know. To me, to be honest, I had a good time. I know sometimes the debates get heated and stuff, but I felt like for the most part, everyone was pretty respectful. Yeah, Gary only understands money number go up. Like Gary's a big fan of what Michael Saylor is doing. And I have a hard time not seeing Michael Saylor's strategy falling apart at some point. Brian, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Brian. And guys, make sure you take a second, drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate everyone doing that. Exit out of the live chat. Take a quick second, drop that like. Yeah, and most of them haven't taken the time to understand XRP, and for the most part, like a lot of them can't. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, even out of the people I talk with about XRP, like take it this way, guys. I don't think people really appreciate how early they are to some of this stuff. Like, out of everyone in the world, right? How many people actually invest? Like, actually invest on their own? I would say probably 20% of people max, right? 20% of people, like how many people in your own life, like, like actually will talk about investing and understand investing and like actually do research on companies? How many people? I mean, me, like my friends, like maybe like two out of like 15, 20 people. Like no one cares about investing. No one cares about companies. And like, and that is just investing in general, right? That's just taking money and investing it. No one does it. And then if you extrapolate on top of that, how many people of those people investing are actually picking individual stocks and picking individual companies and picking individual assets? It's an even smaller subset. And then you take a even smaller subset. Like, do you know how many TradFi guys that I have to have a conversation with about just cryptocurrency? Just like the idea of Bitcoin, like to convince them on Bitcoin. Probably 20 of that 20% of people we just talked about, I would say less than 5% really understand Bitcoin and understand like crypto. And then of that percentage, right? And maybe it's even less than 5. Maybe it's 5% of the entire group of people who understand investing in crypto or investing in general. Maybe 5% understand crypto. And then an even smaller subset of that understand XRP, right? I would say 1% or 1 or 2%, maybe 3% of people in crypto truly understand XRP. And I don't even think most of the people who hold XRP really understand XRP. So the subset of people who actually understand XRP, I don't even think most people who hold XRP understand XRP. I think a lot of people are getting vastly more educated on it. But like I talk to people in XRP all the time, and they have their understanding of XRP, which don't get me wrong, I think that's perfectly fine. But I don't even think they've wrapped their head around the full picture of what's going on here. And I don't even think I've fully figured it out yet, right? I learn things all the time about XRP that constantly make me more and more optimistic about where XRP goes over the long run. So right now, I think my biggest education that I need to build out on XRP is kind of some of the core functionality of the ledger. Some of the core functionality of the ledger, I definitely need some better information on. I saw clips and pieces of that, Roger. And Roger, good to see you here. I always appreciate you being in the chat. XRP, the ultimate contrarian bet. It's a contrarian bet on a contrarian asset class. XRP was created as an alternative P2P cash. XRP is an asset being pushed to update the system. Absolutely. It's the most contrarian bet in the market right now. I believe XRP is the most contrarian bet in the market. Here's why it's the most Texas sweet tea. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You need to open a Streamlabs for donos. Huh, what do you mean by that? I am such a noob when oh, you mean something to pop up on the screen when donations hit? I do have that on the vertical feed. So if you're watching the vertical feed right now, you can actually see that donation hit. I think I can turn that on the horizontal feed. Let me see if I can do that. You're so right. I want to make sure people donating, they can get their seen. And as you can see, I'm just butchering this right now. Let me see if I can reorient this a little bit. I had it up here before, and for whatever reason it was annoying me. Oh, it's locked. So if I unlock this, I should be able to pull this over here. Have that subscriber goal here, which the subscriber goal is also always wrong. Streamlabs can be like, it's like so good at so many things, but so bad at a lot of other things. All right, let me see if I can make this bigger real quick so you guys can see it. Awesome. So you should be able to see donations on that events tab, and I should be able to make a widget that pops up as well. But now the most recent donor, subscriber, or anyone who takes any action will show up in that upper right-hand bar. There's something supposed to pop up and say someone donated, but man, dude, unfortunately, with the amount of time I spend doing everything, I just don't have a lot of time to actually customize the Streamlabs interface. We'll get there. banks aren't going away, governments aren't giving up financial sovereignty. Well, I actually think Firedog was driving a great conversation at the end of the chat, because he was asking Joe, he's like, Joe, don't you think people are going to want money to move faster? And Joe is like, oh, well, I work at a bank and banks are perfectly fine with the way things go right now. It's like, Joe, we're going to have innovation in the world, man. Like, things are not just going to sit in its current place. Like, things are going to get faster, more efficient. Things are going to be unrecognizable in the way money moves 10 years from now than how it moves today. So I just think it's so funny that like his argument is like, oh, well, the banks right now, they don't want instant transactions. It's like, well, yeah, I'm sure they don't, because it disrupts the way they move money on the back end. But innovate, you can't stop innovation. You cannot stop innovation. The banks that adopt innovation will be here to stay, and the banks that push it away won't. Thoughts on the famous number 589? And Jack Patman, thank you so much for that donation. Thoughts on the famous number 589? If anyone, it's everywhere. Gematria, Garlinghouse followers, etc. So 589 was a very early kind of conspiracy and riddle in the XRP community. That has kind of just become a symbolic number for the XRP ledger. The actual talk behind it, I believe 589 is really comes down to what a lot of people thought was a price prediction in the early days. And I think it's kind of just gained a lot of notoriety for being like a really high number, being a very interesting number and where it's popped up. But the Ripple team has definitely leaned into it, right? The Ripple team uses 589 as kind of being... Oh, Streamlabs has a special donation section where they don't take 30% of the donos. Okay, Sweet Tea, Texas Sweet Tea. I'll have to look into that. Thank you so much for bringing that up. It's funny because Ripple has kind of leaned into the 589 thing, like Brad Garlinghouse, and I think they kind of see it as a way to like be like, yeah, you guys, I personally think, this is my personal opinion, I personally think that Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and all of them kind of embrace 589 as a way of them saying like, you guys aren't crazy. Like, a lot of this stuff being put out by the XRP community is absolutely true. That's my personal thinking behind 589. And the reason I think that is because in the Ripple SEC case, messages actually got released where Ripple employees were essentially saying in Slack messages, hey, these XRP people totally understand what's going on. They totally see the big picture, but we can't go interact with them on social media and tell them they're right. We just need to essentially sit back and nod our head and say, yeah, like they can't say anything. So I think 589 is kind of this code way for Ripple to say like, hey, like you're on the right path. Like what you're finding, what you're looking into, what you see, like that's what we also see. I don't think it's meant to be anything more than just like confirmation, right? Like you're on the right path. But that's how I see it. I don't think it's any I think if Ripple saw it as something harmful or Ripple saw it as crazy speculation that was dangerous, I don't think Ripple would be making sure that their account was following 985 people. And I don't think Brad Garlinghouse would be following 589 people. I just think, oh, no, man. No, I got you. Sorry, man. Yo, do you think the announcement of RLUSD is going live and will take XRP to new all-time high? It maybe. I don't know. XRP's got some momentum this morning. So I actually, a little embarrassing. I thought I had the XRP price chart up here. I'll switch it over. XRP looks like it's kind of gaining a little bit of momentum this morning. Oh, that's why I missed that. Move that donation thing, because then I have to put my screen in the bottom right hand corner, which is fine. I can do that. Um, I think if RLUSD gets going and instantly has a lot of volume and minting flowing through it, then I think that will do something. Like if RLUSD goes live at some crazy market cap, like if it starts like at a very high market cap, I do think you will see a large pump in XRP. If RLUSD goes live and in a week from now it's like 10 million market cap, then I don't think it will do much to XRP. So the more successful RLUSD is, the more people are going to be like, oh, wow, this thing's way better than anticipated or way bigger than anticipated. And I think the more money that will flow into XRP. But I don't think RLUSD just going live is going to be enough. I think people want to see like, hey, there's real institutional appetite here, which I believe there will be. I don't know if it happens instantaneously, but I think it happens. Sorry, man. I try to keep up on every super chat. You saw my screen right now, you'd understand why I have to be like, here. There's so much going on. I think the arguments about Ripple being bad for selling to VCs is hilarious. All they had to do was register those sales. Well, it's weird that even people think Ripple's bad for selling XRP. I don't know of a single foundation or a single entity in crypto that doesn't sell an underlying asset. Bitcoin miners are constantly dumping XRP. How they create revenue. I mean, dumping Bitcoin. Bitcoin miners get Bitcoin and then they dump it on the market. I mean, every single ecosystem involves some kind of selling of a token. XRP is full of like conspiracy and all kinds of crazy things, but personally I don't think that's necessarily harmful. I think whatever you need to hear to get you over the finish line is what you need to hear. Am I going on Ab's show today? No, I owe Abs. I definitely have blown Abs off on a couple of texts now. I need to get back to Abs and get on a show. I've just been so busy. So busy. So many new, fun, exciting stuff going on. It's like, I love going on Abs' show and they kill it over there. It's just like, man, like, if I do that live stream, I do this live stream, I make my video later. I mean, like, this, I need more time in the day, or if I could figure out how to not sleep, if I could just like hit a button and like instantly get all my sleep in, man, oh man, that's what I need. I just don't have enough time in the day. Like literally no time to do all the things I need to do. And that's why like my live streams are still like so lacking in technical capability. It's just like, there's only so many things I can bite off at once. But it's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining. Good problem to have. Fire Dog, that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm probably like right now I'm probably averaging like 5 to 6 hours a night. I can do better. AI, oh my, if I could get an AI Mickle, game over. I'll get one at some point. I will get one at some point. There will be AI Mickle, and he will be my savior. AI Mickle will be my savior. WV Coy, hey Mickle, I heard that at 3 are actually 2 XRP ledgers, one for public use and one for central banks. Can you explain? So there's what Ripple has is they have private versions of the XRP ledger to do testing with central banks, but ultimately they need access to the public XRP ledger. That's where all the liquidity is. So think about it this way, WV Coy. If you were a central bank or if you were a large institution, you wouldn't want to test everything you're doing on the public XRP ledger, right? You would want to test in private. So there's private ledgers for these institutions to test on, but ultimately they have to come to the public XRP ledger. Each bank and country has a private ledger. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Each bank is going to need a private ledger of some point. Yeah, I can just set the Tesla bot up here to start talking. I miss Cobb lives. He has been replaced by a bunch of new guys doing 3-hour live stream. 5-cent XRP pumps. Yeah, Cobb's an OG, man. Whiskey sounds good right now. It's only 8 a.m. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, it's funny because sometimes I drink cold brew out of like a whiskey glass and everyone thinks I'm drinking whiskey at 8 a.m. Taylor, I will if I have to. The biggest news right now is RLUSD. Then the next biggest news is going to be after Trump gets in, new SEC chair with the case dropping, and then the next thing will probably be Ripple IPO. I think those are probably going to be the big next catalysts coming up. I haven't spent a lot of time right now checking the news. Let me just check the news real quick and make sure I'm not missing anything. Huh. Dude, I love the XRP community is just coming out and blasting some of these people. Oh, man. DAI just sent out a pretty great tweet. In the recent dip, guys, this is pretty interesting. I'm reading this right now. In the recent XRP dip, it looks like whales bought over 100 million XRP. Incredible. Oh. All right, so nothing overly interesting going on in the news as we speak. It's a lot of people kind of just pulling clips from that debate last night. But man, there's some good clips being pulled. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I wish more people in the XRP community were willing to, like more high level people, like influencers, were willing to jump on those spaces and talk. Oh yeah, DAI went off. Yeah, no, check out DAI's post. Is VET a good buy? I'm not personally that big on VeChain, but that doesn't mean it's not a good project. I just don't follow VeChain that closely. There's only so many things you can follow in crypto, and for me, like XRP is the leader. Let me know when Nancy Pelosi buys XRP. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, VET kills it up there. The problem with VET is like most people just can't even wrap their head. The only problem with VET is like most people can't even wrap their head around what he's saying because like they're so new. Like these people like they don't even understand like the basic functions of XRP. So like when VET goes up there and he explains things to people, like it just goes right over their head. It's way too complex for them. VET is absolutely brilliant and an absolute asset. And I would not have the understanding I have right now if it wasn't for VET. It's literally just that most of those people just can't even comprehend some of the things VET says, which is funny for me. But they'll listen to him talk and then they'll just bring up the same point back over again. They never even like actually like realize that he just answered their exact question and then provided them the reason why they were wrong. They just kind of sit there and they're like, wait, and then bring up the same exact thing. And VET's like, well, I just explained this, but you didn't get it. No, I don't think most Bitcoin maxis understand proof of work and why it's not actually necessary or anything like that. I love that, Charles. VET is Mike Tomlin wordy. Cornstar, they're all over X. They're all over X. All the posts. Osvar, hello from Manchester, UK. Watch your streams daily. Do you reckon we will break the resistance at 240 today? I think if RLUSD launches and like it's like boom, like there's like 100 million in RLUSD on Mint, like I think that would be enough to put a pretty big green candle in on XRP, but we'll see. We'll see. It's hard to look at XRP at any individual catalyst, right? It kind of just moves when it feels like moving. So look, I've seen announcements that I am shocked that don't move the price of XRP, and I've seen announcements that move the XRP, and I'm just like, how did that move the XRP price? So all right, guys, I've got to wind this down now. Guys, if you don't mind, on the way out, just make sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. So many people watch these live streams that are not subscribed, but the best way to see these live streams pop up and be here for the full thing is just to make sure you're subscribed. So make sure just to, on your way out, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's a great way to make sure you're notified every single time I go live. I would love to see just that little banner at the top just start being like subscribe, 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 subscribe. Just like a lot of people who come in here, hang out. It really helps because there's no question in my mind that YouTube has me shadow banned significantly. So the best way to break those shadow bans is just to make sure that you guys are subscribed, because that way you guys can find the content whenever I go live, regardless if YouTube wants you to see it or not. So guys, really appreciate everyone for being here. You guys know if anything interesting comes up, I will be here to cover it. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and let's see what happens today. Hopefully we get some very exciting, unexpected RLUSD news, and we see a lot of volume coming over.